Well, welcome back. We are so glad to have you back here in the studio. I am a very hoarse Steve Moulter. It seems to be getting worse by the moment, but fortunately I'm joined here in Studio A with the fabulous Nish Parker. Hello, my friend.
Hello, I'm excited that we get to be in the studio together.
I know, and I apologize that this is the way that I have to do it, but
okay.
It is what it is. All right, so we just came out of this brilliant keynote. We're so glad to have all of you with us on the stream, and I hope you loved what it is that you heard. So much great territory that we covered, right? So I just want to kind of kick out right away from what it is that we heard from Wendy right off the bat. She set up some core challenges for us, right? We're looking at geopolitical turmoil. There's war going on in the world right now, which we understand. Challenging economy, an energy crisis, and ongoing trouble with the supply chain, right? We're looking at a big gap in digital skills that we are all facing, and yet, what's so great about being together here in the room with one another is that we also have so much opportunity and so much untapped potential, and that's so much of what Wendy really dived into, and I thought it really started the keynote out on such a positive note, even despite all the things that we're facing. Did you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, I think everybody that's sat there in the keynote space, everybody that's watching from home, I think everybody can relate to the challenges, right? The news that we see around the world and how technology has the potential to actually change that, make things better, help us move forward. And I think that's what this show is all about, obviously using technology in practical ways to help us find new solutions. Steve, I loved the industry storytelling focus in the sense of, we heard from automotive, we heard from sports, retail, lots of different industries on how they're using technology to change their businesses, and obviously how, they're partnering with Cisco to do that. So I love seeing that, and obviously, we've got that technology that's out there, it's practical, it's real, out in the world of solutions where we are. So I think, just having that combination of the keynote, the talks, the different sessions, it really brings it all together in the sense of what are we doing as Cisco as an organization, what's our technology, what's our portfolio, but then how is it real for customers, right? Indeed.
I want to mention one other thing before we go back out to the other spaces and the folks out on remote. Jonathan Davidson, I love the way that he began. He started by talking about this big, cozy blanket of unified experiences, which I thought was amazing. But then going to what you talked about in automotive, for example, right? This great story from Ford, this reinvention, this company that's over 100 years old, and that the automobile is no longer about just getting from point A to point B. It's become such an integrated aspect of our lifestyle, and the network is the key to making it all work. To take this vision that Ford has had over the past 20 years, convert, digitize the network to empower all of these additional capabilities. Thought it was really exciting.
Absolutely, and on top of that, obviously, anytime you mention network or any technology, security comes in that. So I loved what Tom Gillis had to say, right, about making sure that it's secure and taking away from gone are the days where a new threat pops up, a new company pops up, and it's one by one, right? It's not about battling each threat at a time, but having one holistic security strategy with, guess who? Cisco.
Exactly.
Who's better than Cisco Secure, right? And I loved what he talked about security as a network and really having that so it's easy for our customers. And I think the key word here is experience, making it easy, simple. So because we know that these things take time, they're high pressure, especially for the security teams. You don't want to be, you don't want to be facing some of the days that CISOs I know are facing. So Cisco can really help with that, and it was great to see the innovation.
Indeed. So Nish, we're going to head on out to the WAS floor, and I think Rob Boyd is hanging out there. Rob, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine, Steve. I am out here on the WAS show floor. And listen, I want to point out a couple of things just to help keep everybody kind of focused on what's going on. Yes, we have the broadcast schedule, and there's a lot of good stuff to take advantage of. If you come over to the Innovation Theater, which has got the big plant-based lettering there. I think they added the plants with the lettering. I don't think it grew there on its own. It's pretty dynamic. But this is where all the innovation talks are happening, as why it's called the Innovation Theater. And then over here on the schedule, we can see our very next session at 12 o'clock local time. All this stuff will be available on demand as well, simplifying network experiences. So this is just a quick and easy way to check down. As we look, we've got everything on tap for today. Now myself and the three co-hosts, we're all going to be here between each of these sessions, making sure that we bring a little bit more color, a little bit more interactivity. If you're not able to be here, hopefully this is a chance for you to experience what the event is like. And but one of the things I'm kind of curious about is that Cedric was supposed to be with me here, and he's not, and so we're just going to take a look down over here. And so, okay, I see it. Steve, why don't you swing around over here? I think we found Cedric. Cedric was talking about these smoothies, and apparently he's found one. So the refreshments are fantastic. What do you have there? Is that for me or for you?
Well, I actually got one for me at the back as well, but this is like, I think it's strawberry. Like, it's really good. Like, so we're here at the Simplify T-Zone right now, like just like having this wonderful smoothie. But actually here you can get tours from Cisco Live, 2023 Amsterdam. You can just get a tour through the world of solutions, explore what's going to happen here, what's happening here, who is here. We're going to take you also with us later on right now. So yes, Rob, I mean, I'm going to get your smoothie right now.
No, I want to get a smoothie as well, because well, no wonder you didn't show up for the live hit.
Good.
But yeah, so we get here. This is the south end, I think, of the world of solutions. All of the primary Cisco stuff you'll find along the right wall, and then all of the incredible ecosystem of partners, as you heard mentioned on the keynote. They are all here. They're ready to interact with you. They're ready to answer your questions. And what I love about this particular setup is if they're telling you that something can be done in conjunction with something over here, you got a chance to check it out and make sure it's real. So this should be great. Hey, back to you guys in the studio. We'll see you in a minute.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Rob. You know what? We're going to come up to a great interview in just a moment. Before we get to that, I want to briefly touch on what we heard from Tom Gillis around those 5 pillars of Cisco Security Cloud.
Right.
Because security is everything. It has to be native to our capabilities, right, Nish? Mm-hmm. We cannot look at things in isolation and add security at the back end. So the network security aspect of the firewall and that great new announcement that we have on upped performance levels. We are back to pre-pandemic availability, which is incredibly exciting.
Yes.
Secure connectivity on the SASE and the SSE side. Zero trust. Cloud application security. Threat detection and response. The fact that Cisco is so deeply embedded with making sure that security is in fact native to everything that we offer, I think it's a key differentiator, and it's another great example of how Cisco really leads in the industry today.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen, even when we're walking around the show floor, right, we have security everywhere. Obviously, we talk about it, right, in the sense of our portfolio, but you see it dotted into every demo that you see. How can we make it secure? I'm overhearing conversations with customers asking our team here, and what about security? And obviously, it's all built in, like you said, it's fully native. We've got the Cisco Secure booth just behind us. Great coffee if you're here on site. Make sure you go and go there as well. And then we've also got security in the showcase. So, we've got zero trust demos. I know passwordless is something that the team are talking about here at the show, as well as risk-based authentication and looking for changes in risk profiles. So some really exciting announcements that the team are making here. We heard it all in the keynote. And yeah, if you're here at the show, walk around, see in the world solutions, we're going to bring it to you as well for the broadcast. So.
Every single bit of it, right? Yes. I'm wondering when we get to the point where security no longer has to be brought in as an add-in. When everybody just understands, no, it is a part of whatever you do. If you're working with Cisco on any level, whatever your capability happens to be, whatever contract you're under, whatever you're trying to accomplish, that Cisco is just guaranteeing that the security is part of it. Because that is the way that we create true hybrid, right? When we talk about work from home, work from anywhere, we even heard back in the keynote, take your laptop wherever you want to go. Well, we're not quite there yet. We're trying to get there, but once security is where it needs to be, which is what Cisco is leading the path on, then that's simply where we're going to go. I think we're going to head back out to the world of solutions. Rob, look, you've got a guest up in there. Rob, how you doing?
I do, avidly, actually, because what I wanted to find out more about is we've got the IoT operations dashboard, and as it was talked about in the keynote, this is one of several platforms, but probably the hottest area in terms of where Cisco is riding the growth of the industry because of all the solutions that we provide at all points along the way. But one of the hardest parts, I believe, in that is really how do you bring it together and operate it in a cohesive manner. And Eric, I wonder if you could just give us a minute on what's important to understand, what are you showing, what are people asking you about here?
Yeah, absolutely, and thanks for the question. So Cisco IoT Operations Dashboard is really bringing together that IoT industrial networking portfolio, so we're able to manage our networking solutions from the cloud to really simplify that IT experience for our customers. And at the show this week, we've announced something that we call Secure Equipment Access Plus. This enables our customers to access equipment remotely from the cloud. And this is really resonating very well with customers. A lot of customers are interacting here on the stand, wanting to know how do they do that security, how can they really simplify their operations, leverage the cloud. The other big announcement was Cisco Cyber Vision, which we've brought into our cloud platform. It's already available as an on-prem solution. but bringing to the cloud really helps simplify that for customers, and again, helps secure their operational network. And with everything you hear about critical infrastructure, it's really, really important to keep that secure, and Cisco Cybervision is going to help our customers do that.
That is awesome, Eric. Thank you for your time and appreciate it. This is very interesting stuff, guys. In fact, this is just tip of the iceberg in terms of what you can do in terms of industrial IoT. Not just, the industrial part is highly specialized and has so many fascinating assets to it, or facets, that's the word, fascinating facets. That's too much. But we'll go back to the studio and then we'll come back here in a moment. See you guys.
That's how you know, Rob, that you need a little extra smoothie. When you can't say the word facets, it means that you need to go pick up some sort of strawberry smoothie,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so Nish, another thing that I really want to touch on, something that I think was so current, so on trend here in the talk from Liz Centoni, where she was talking about generative AI. We are facing it's a mogul of a transition into AI, right? Everything that we are doing, it feels like every 2 weeks we've got new capabilities in AI,
Yes.
which is incredibly exciting on the technology side, but it also brings up a world of potential threat exposure, and that exposure just becomes wider every single day, right? So she talked about enhancing use cases, everything from infrastructure to applications. She talked about how we can troubleshoot and incorporate data interpretation, and what I really think was most important was security vulnerabilities management, because I really think that is the big issue with AI. What have you been hearing?
I mean, again, security, right?
Yeah, security, we're right back where we started, right?
Yeah, I love what you said as well about hybrid work, and what I love that Javed said was he actually used a tangible example of bringing the cost down per dollar per employee. And I love that because it was really tangible in the sense of, obviously, we talk about all these nice to have things, great experiences for employees, obviously it has to be secure. That's not so much a nice to have, that we need that. That's our base level, right? But then it actually comes down to the cost of it, and actually being able to do that in a way where you create these hybrid work experiences that are amazing for employees and for the company, better collaboration, and at a cost where you're not breaking the bank. So I thought that was cool just to see that practical dollar example.
Perfect, perfectly put. All right, so we're going to go back out to the world of solutions, and I think we've got Cedric on deck. Cedric, can you hear me? Sort of.
Yes, Steve, I'm actually still enjoying my smoothie right now, right? Like you told Rob to still have the smoothie, but I'm still enjoying mine. But I'm here at the Cisco showcase. I am here on the Cisco on Cisco stand. I think this is awesome because we are using our own technologies, of course, inside our company, and I got some really cool information here about how we do that. The Cisco on Cisco stories are also available on the website, but I think it's cool to have it on the broadcast, Steve. So Cisco on Cisco, as you know, we're a big company, a big American company. So we have about 81,000 employees worldwide that use WebEx on a daily basis, that connect with our enterprise networking portfolio on a daily basis. And that team is distributed all over the world. As you can see, we have a good base here in EMEA, in APJC, and in Americas, right? There's so much going on here. We have, as you can see, so many routers, switches that are running every time. As I said, the collaboration portfolio is also so important because we were talking here about the hybrid work, right? But that's what we do at Cisco every day in, every day out, as I said this morning as well in the studio already. We just work from anywhere where possible. We're going to walk down the floor. We're going to learn more about our collaboration tools later on. But I think this is just so awesome that we are using our own products and we just get our own internal feedback and we improve our products and so on. But I think, Steve, we're going to go back to you into the studio right now.
Absolutely. Cedric, thank you so much. I appreciate it. One of the things I wanted to talk about, we heard so much about transitioning of IT, right? How can we not only empower IT today, but how does IT become a driver for future capabilities? What have you been hearing on the IT side as far as, for example, now sustainability, right?
Yes.
That IT is no longer just back end. IT now can create business opportunities. Let's talk about that for a moment. What have you been seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have the sustainability zone here, right? So people that are here can go and take a look. I know we're going to definitely be hopping in there. It's a very cool area. It's very zen, isn't it? It's like a little garden in the middle of the world of solutions, which we love. And we have sessions later as well. We have Denise Lee, who's our VP of Sustainability and Engineering.
Right.
He talks about how when we design a product and a solution right from the ground up, sustainability is built into that, and how companies can save on power and energy consumption. We have the UCS X series that even has individual components you can swap out, so there's less e-waste. So if you need to sub something or swap something or upgrade something, you can do that easily. It's kind of like a bit like Lego, Steve. It looks sounds fun to play with, although I'm not sure I can, but it just, prevents e-waste. It stops, you throwing something out and going for something new and still getting the innovation. So I thought that, we've got some really creative solutions that we're offering to customers to help make them more sustainable and move towards net zero.
One of the other things that I kind of wanted to bring up was that when it comes to IT operations in general, right? So again, on that sustainability track, you just said we're empowering a truly inclusive future for all, which is great. Cisco sits at that intersection really between sustainability and technology, which I think is very exciting. We're working to help businesses and IT to make much more informed choices in their journey towards sustainability goals. We heard so much about that in the keynote. We're going to see it across the show floor. So how can an enterprise think more holistically about their people, about their processes, about their technology elements? It's so important. Sustainability isn't just about risk and compliance. Like I just said a moment ago, it's becoming a driver of better business value, and I think it's really focused on improved operational efficiency, better competitive differentiation, driving more innovation, driving more revenue growth for all of us. And a great example of what we just heard, like IT departments, so much more powerful than ever. Key enablers of sustainable transformation. I think it's exciting, right, Nish?
Absolutely, and it is a journey as well, like you said, Steve. Like, you really do have people that are really far along their journey at the beginning, and Cisco can help wherever you are.
Yeah.
So Rob, I know you're out in the world of solutions, right? Or the Cisco Showcase, I believe. So Rob, over to you. What are you going to show us?
Sometimes when I travel, Nish, I miss my home office, just everything that I've done to really personalize it and make it mine. But one thing about my home office is I use a lot of WebEx devices in here, some of which are represented, not all of them. I don't know if you can get a shot, Steve, around the corner here. I'm going to ask you guys, just keep talking. But looking over at this screen here, this is the new Desk Mini. These things come in a variety of colors, I believe, still at this point in time, but this is an awesome device because they build the power supply into these so that you don't have that big external brick around with it. There's literally a carry handle on it. So you got Wi-Fi and you depend on Wi-Fi perhaps in your home office, but yet maybe you want to work in the kitchen a little bit this day in your home library and another one. This is a great device for you as well. I'll have you back up a little bit here, and as we pan around, we'll come over. This is, I believe, either the WebEx Desk or the Desk Pro. They look very similar. The 1080p, that looks like it's probably the Desk. Oh, we're probably live with somebody else on the other end. We'll say hi. They got a live call back. Oh, we're probably someone else here on the show floor, is what it looks like here. But this unit, in being able to become an extension of your laptops, you have the great screen experience, the microphones, the camera. All of these things are about enabling this experience that allows you to be there without being there. And WebEx continues to invest in these devices to pull this off. One of the things that I've been on them about is I did get advanced access to previous headphones, but these are the B&Os. These have been valuable. They're watching me closely, so I don't think I'm going to get away with them here now, today, but I'll just note this, for another moment. Look, people are staring in on us. Say hi. Oh, they're like, what's that over there? There's like a camera on a camera, and who knows? There's very stranger things going on here. But the point is what WebEx devices have done, and it's important to remember that the devices are just an intro into what is usually a very involved network and going to be very unique in every situation. But they've got the ability to see, well, what is it like in context, this being the home office? There's other setups here as well that have the bigger Board Pro devices, for instance, new codecs, different things that continue to advance the game and set the bar, including the partnership with Microsoft that gives us the one-button access no matter what. But with that, I'm going to go back to the studio and I'll check back with you guys soon.
Thank you so much, Rob. I really do appreciate it. Fantastic job down on there on the World of Solutions show floor. And as I've been talking to my friends, a fantastic guest has joined me here in Studio A. I've got Chintan Patel here with me. Chintan is our Chief Technical Officer for Cisco UK and Ireland. Welcome, my friend. How you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, other than the voice. My energy is high. I'm feeling fantastic. I'm here with you, so how can I be doing any better? We just wish this would come back,
well,
right?
It's great to be here.
That's great. All right, so you are leading such a fantastic team of visionaries and technologists and specialists in areas that are truly affecting so much of what it is that all of us do, everybody who's here at the show, everyone tuning in. So, what are we talking about? Artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, IoT, blockchain, future workplaces, virtual reality, conversational interfaces, all these core aspects, elements, and opportunities that we have to transform our businesses, right? So I think the first thing that I want to talk about is what you heard in the keynote. We heard some new announcements. What are you most excited about, and what do you think our customers are most excited about in terms of these empowerments?
Well, look, first and foremost, isn't it great to be back together again?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the energy here is phenomenal. I mean, I've been speaking to customers and partners over the last 24 hours, and they've just been really excited to be together, to actually touch and feel the technology. I mean, that's something that we've missed. And actually, the announcements that we made earlier today were fantastic and so well received, because it was not only about the technology innovation, but actually it was about the application of technology and what it does to ultimately deliver the experiences that we all care about. And we heard from our customers on stage how important these digital experiences are for them. So whether you're an energy company, whether you're a company that's flying people to a venue like this, EasyJet, where
automotive manufacturers,
or if you traveled by car, or if you're into football, we had City Football Group on stage as well, talking about how critical the technology that we're building is so foundational to everything that they do to deliver the experiences that each and every one of us love. And the one thing that I think has been amplified by the keynote and what we've announced is how critical digital infrastructure really is. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, and everything in between is powered by this technology. And we can't underestimate that. And I think that came out loud and clear in the keynote in terms of the innovation that Cisco's investing in, what we're building, and what we've got yet to come. And in many cases, you talked about a number of different sort of innovative technology areas earlier on. We're building now for things that we don't yet know are going to transpire in years ahead. And so building a scalable infrastructure, making sure that it's secure, making sure that it's easy to manage with simple IT, because the world is complex, is the mission we're on, and we saw some great announcements around that.
Look at what Jonathan was saying about where mobile phones were 10 years ago. Where in the world do we think that they're going to be 10 years from now? It's opportunity, and really that's, I think, what Wendy and what Liz both hit on so solidly, is the opportunity that we're facing. We can make amazing things happen. So I want to go a little further with the announcements and the ones that you think are really going to help businesses primarily in transforming and evolving. Is it about the fact that we are back to pre-pandemic demand? Is it that we are dealing with supply chain? Is it that we are opening up new capabilities that we didn't even know about the last time we were together 3 years ago in Barcelona? What do you think is really standing out right now as the most actionable for everybody who's here at the event?
Well, look, I think our customers are grappling with the plethora of things that they have to care about to deliver these digital experiences. That's centered around hybrid work, and we heard about hybrid work and how important that is, and it's still a big experiment. We don't know where it's going to go, but what we do know, it's here with us, and it will be for a long period of time. So how do we navigate that? What are the things that we can start to put in place to make it easier for organizations to deploy technology that enables their workforce to work from anywhere and be efficient and be productive? And that's a hugely important aspect of every company going forward. The threat landscape is fundamentally changing. The more things that are being connected, and remember, anything that can be connected is being connected
Absolutely.
to the internet. Whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, it's happening. We talked about the number of vehicles, 90 million vehicles on our connected platform today. We can see where that trajectory is going. And as we do that, there's a challenge for our customers in terms of this is just an incredible amount of things to manage. There's an incredible amount of threat actors who are potentially looking to exploit what you have connected to the internet. And so actually protecting this environment becomes hugely important, but it becomes increasingly complex in a very fragmented world. So what we announce around simplification around our security cloud to actually deliver some of these capabilities in a simple fashion becomes hugely important. So I think I'm really excited about those things in terms of how we're simplifying IT. We're making sure security is embedded from the start, all the way from the application development to the infrastructure and into the assets that you no longer own. In the pandemic, we saw a big shift for organizations in terms of relying on public cloud and the internet for their networks and their workloads. Now, these mission critical experiences that we talk about, that we all care about, are now living in environments that our IT teams no longer own. How do you control the experience in a world which you don't own? And so the technology that we've announced around Thousand Eyes WAN Insights, and application dynamics, and everything there is about giving insights and visibility so that our customers can do more with less.
So beautifully put. Chintan, I wish we could keep talking for the next 20 minutes. Unfortunately, we're a bit behind going into the next talk, but please come back, visit us,
Certainly will.
share some more time. I really, really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Right now, we're going to take a quick jump out to Zero Trust. We've got a great tape coming up for you on Zero Trust. We're going to talk about, Rob Boyd is actually out there with Tom Gillis. We're going to send it back over to Rob, and we're going to hear how that interview went. Here we go.
All right, guys, I'm so excited because we get to talk not just security, but security with Tom Gillis. And Tom, you and I have a little bit of background. We've done some things together, but the interesting thing enough, that was in your original time with Cisco.
Yep.
But you left and then you came back.
Yes.
What's the story on that?
Yeah, so I'm the Ironport person. I was one of the founders of Ironport. Cisco acquired us years ago, and the reason I came back to Cisco is I think there's a fundamental shift happening in security.
Okay.
For, I don't know, decades, the way the security industry worked is a new threat would emerge, and there'd be a cluster of new companies that would spring up to counter that threat.
Because it's kind of naturally reactive, it feels like security's.
There's no end for innovation, right? Like constantly, because you get bad guys that are innovating too. So little companies are good at innovation, and that creates a bunch of point solutions. Now the problem is customers have to ingest more and more point solutions.
Yeah.
And that's a bunch of work, but more importantly, even with all these point solutions broadly deployed, if you look at the current state of the security landscape, the attacks are growing in both frequency and severity. Things like ransomware.
Yeah.
It's a major, major problem.
Yeah.
So we got to think differently, right? A bunch of point solutions are not going to work. We have to look end to end from when a user clicks on a link to when the application accesses data. And if you can see broadly across that entire chain, the attacks stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
Cisco is uniquely positioned to provide that end-to-end visibility because of the breadth of portfolio.
So I want to ask you, but let me first acknowledge, we're recording this after hours. I apologize for any extraneous noise that may pop up.
It's almost happy hour.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. I think some people are well into their happy hour, it sounded like. But I wanted to ask you about Zero Trust.
Yeah.
It feels like it's become something very important. Not only the industry customers are asking for it, Cisco's been in this space, but what are we doing now and how are we addressing it?
Yeah, Zero Trust is a principle, it's a guiding framework which says, assume that you've been compromised. So each piece of the infrastructure, every step along that chain I talked about, you need to put trust around it.
You're right.
For users, the most important trust is authentication. Not just a password, but who are you? Can we verify that it really is Tom? And so this is where Cisco has put a lot of energy. So we have multi-factor authentication capability. Others have that too. What makes us unique is that we combine it with policies that allow you to do almost common sense like security policies that yield a better end user experience and higher security in the process.
Well, I think the authentication is always interesting because that's the most visible part to a user.
Yeah.
And I think ideally we're always addressing security underneath things, right? No one wants to see security in action because it usually means you're stopping me from doing something.
Yeah.
But you're talking about point solutions and kind of solving for that. Are we addressing both the policy and behavioral issues? Well, that's two different questions.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the behavioral issues. After authentication,
Yes.
I change what I'm doing. I was fine now, but am I still fine later?
Yes, here's a perfect example.
Okay.
So in a Zero Trust world, you log into the network, and let's say you access a corporate directory, and we authenticate you the way we normally do. Now, if you're on the same device and the network doesn't change and nothing changes around your posture, if you want to go to, say, Workday or Salesforce, we're not going to ask you to authenticate again. Right? So we don't need to. Nothing changed. But if you close your laptop, run down the street, go to a coffee shop, and open it back up again, we will automatically sense, hey, wait a minute, you're on a different network. We do what's called Wi-Fi fingerprinting. So we recognize, hey, the network changed, so we're going to ask you to authenticate again. Simple, easy, logical.
The common sense you're speaking.
Exactly. Event-driven, common sense. Let's authenticate when we need to authenticate.
Yeah.
Now, there's a whole new class of attack where attackers are taking advantage of brain-dead, simple multi-factor authentication, where users are just being trained to click, 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 click.
Yeah.
And so they'll find a way to spoof an authentication and fit into what they call a click stream, where users are just clicking and not realizing what they're clicking on. And so we have an answer for that too. It's called a verified push. So we'll say, if you're going to access a sensitive application, let's imagine it's source code, like Jira, we're going to ask you to type a simple 3 or 4 digit code from your phone into the computer.
So literally how we ask you to authenticate is getting a little bit, tightening those screws.
You've got it.
In that situation.
It's context.
Yeah.
We understand the context, right? Of like, did something change, or you're accessing something that's sensitive? And we don't just blindly apply authentication to everything. We do it in an intelligent and directed way to yield a better security posture and a better end user experience.
That makes a lot of sense, because I feel like obviously it needs to happen in a way that makes, how do we address the common sense in an automated fashion? But getting back to the different point solutions and doing this together, are we still progressing towards saying, let me give you one way to address policies consistently so that users or administrators aren't having to worry about, well, how am I going to actually make this work?
Yeah, for sure. So let's go back to, remember, zero trust we were talking about?
Yeah.
Your zero trust policies might live in the authentication system. It might live in your web security capability. It might live in a VPN, and it might live in the network. Different pockets of policy that you have to configure separately and make sure that they're all aligned. At Cisco, with our platform view, we can tie each of these together in a single unified interface. This is what we call the Cisco Security Cloud.
Okay.
One policy, one login, and most importantly, one database that can understand the telemetry from everything from the user to the network to the application and tie those together so we have that comprehensive view of what's happening.
Which I assume that also has positive impacts for things like forensics and saying, well, what did happen?
Totally.
And can we trace back and go,
Yes.
where was that mistake made?
That's a super interesting topic. You're going to hear a lot more from Cisco on this, which is not just about stopping ransomware, recovering from ransomware. There's a lot that we can do to help the customers recover.
Which feels like a big unsolvable problem these days, because everyone is being affected by this in some major...
What I'm excited about being at Cisco is that I think there's a lot of problems that we could solve. I like to pick those problems that Cisco can solve uniquely. And that one of recovering from a ransomware attack is something that I think Cisco can solve uniquely. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more on that front.
Yeah. Well, you guys have had a ton of activity over in the security booth, and I think the attention is there. The security, I always feel like, is that gift that keeps on giving, in the sense that it continues to change. It remains an exciting environment, so it's a good place to play in. Any final thoughts on what we should remember coming out of this, or what to investigate next on our journey?
Well, you know, the attackers are constantly innovating, and they're finding ways to look like legitimate traffic. So it's getting harder and harder to figure out friend from foe. You have to look broadly at that context. And then it gives you that common sense ability. If you can see the who, what, where, when, and how, the attacks stand out like a sore thumb. And this is really our focus at Cisco, is that context.
Sounds like we're on the right track. Tom, thank you. I'm glad to have you back at Cisco.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome.
Okay.
Guys, if you get a chance, if you can't check out the security booth because you're not physically here, that's okay. A lot of great content on demand available. Be sure and check it out. Don't waste a chance. Thank you.